Amanda, Viva ANC, Viva! Forward to the Revolutionary Tripartite Alliance, forward! Viva our leagues, Viva! Amanda, forward to victory, forward! Amanda! Thank you very much, Comrade Deputy Chair. I see the provincial treasurer has organized nice bags for the delegates to this special Provincial General Council. Woolies bags have been very popular this week, so the Provincial Treasurer organized Woolies bags for all of them. And I'm just curious to know what's inside those Woolies bags. Comrade Deputy Chair, let me take this opportunity to greet the NEC member that is here, Comrade Renewal. But I think I need to bring you to the attention of this special Provincial General Council that Comrade indeed left World Bank 3 o'clock in the morning to be here on time. She left World Bank 3 o'clock in the morning for her to be here on time. And what that demonstrates is that she takes NPC obligations serious. No casual attitude towards organization. She's not casual. That's a casual attitude. She counted 10 hours, 9 o'clock, the special PGC starts. I must leave at 3 hit the road to the moment. Can you leave the rolling The second person to arrive, it was me. I found him. Who's saying Oh, is it you? Oh, I thought it was you. Let me also greet all our RECs and our delegates from the branches. Let me pass my regards to our distinguished veterans. Again, we've got the full house of the ANC veterans. 5 were invited, I see 5. Yeah, can you give them a nice round of applause? Comrades, I would like to join our Deputy Chairperson in welcoming you to this special Provincial General Council of the ANC. In preparations for the National General Council to take place just under a week, under 2 weeks. And I would also like to congratulate Namakwa region on the swift victory in Wasi Sahanda municipality. Can we give Namakwa a nice round of applause? Like warriors coming back from war victorious. That's what Namakwa is today. So warriors of this movement, battle torn, but coming back with a trophy for the African National Congress for us all to celebrate. And hard luck to Pichika Sene on the loss in 1-5 Siangoma municipality. We must also congratulate our leadership, the national leadership for hosting the ANC SACP bilateral. This ANC SACP bilateral is long overdue. And we are happy that during the week, the leadership managed to meet, and we've got a special NEC meeting tomorrow to receive the feedback of those engagements. Comrade Deputy Chair, I am confident that the special PGC will provide us with a platform for frank and open discussions as we address the central and important theme of the National General Council. The theme is ANC renewal to advance the Freedom Charter. I would also like to congratulate all our branches and regions for the large amount of work that has been done in preparations for the special PGC. Can you guys give yourselves a nice round of applause? I know when we started with the process, the provincial secretary started raising a number of concerns that regions are not taking this preparation serious. But just a week and a half back, there's a large amount of work which was invested in ensuring that all our branches who qualify to go to the NGC will be able to send delegates. Comrades there, the NGC, we want 100% attendance. I don't know what comrades have. 100% attendance from the military. That's what should happen. The Provincial Executive Committee is very pleased with the seriousness with which all our structures took the work of preparing for the Special General Council. As the delegates are aware, we will be meeting in December at the National General Council to fulfill a constitutional obligation that we should meet in general councils in between our national conferences. One of the great advantages we have with the PGC and NGC is that we can focus seriously on matters that have to do with ensuring that as a movement, we discharge our responsibilities to our province and country. At the NGC, we will not be meeting to elect a new National Executive Committee. So none of us will have to spend time lobbying for a particular candidate and positions. As comrades are aware, much too often, whenever we meet in conferences to elect our executive committees, many comrades spend large amounts of time canvassing, lobbying, and making deals to have their preferred candidates elected into executive positions. Even during discussions, some of the delegates will stand up and speak, not because they have anything to say, but because they want the delegates to see them and hear their self-embraced revolutionary speeches, even if these speeches have nothing to do with what is under discussion. The guiding theme of our National General Council is extremely important. A call for renewal of our movement to advance the Freedom Charter in a year in which the Freedom Charter just turned 70 years. I am certain that the NGC basic discussion document that we have been engaging with have given us a firm base for rich and constructive engagements. We are fortunate that we meet in this secondary city of Kimberley. For many years, the city has been a strong and unwavering base of our movement. With the 1994 elections, ANC got 74% here in Kimberley. With the last general elections, the ANC in this city decreased to 46%, the lowest ever, and this marks a 28% electoral decline over a period of 30 years. This is the trend that defines the electoral fortunes of the ANC throughout the province and country. As we meet here today, the electoral support of the ANC was reduced from its highest peak of 60% in 2004 general elections to 49% in 2024 general elections, which is 20% decline, and we have lost 3 of our 5 regions. I think comrades, we need to internalize this in order for us to appreciate the gravity of the challenges that we are confronted with. 1994 here in Kimberley, we got 74%. and our electoral support has been decimated to 46% now. At our highest peak in the province, 2004, we got close to 70%, 69.6%. And now we are standing at 49%, which marks a decline of about 20%. Comrade Chair, comrades in this special General Council, we need to start looking at taking our work seriously. So this is our first special Provincial General Council where the ANC converges and our electoral support is below 50, national and in the province. It's for the first time that we meet in a special Provincial General Council or a Provincial General Council where the electoral support of the ANC right around the country is below 50. This means that the organization is in a state of emergency. The outcomes of the 11th by-elections we had after 2024 general elections depicts the ANC as an organization that is losing support despite winning 8 of the 11 by-elections. The total number of people that voted in the last 11 by-elections that we have in the province is 19,555. And of the 19,555 people who voted in the last 11 by-elections that we have in the province, only 8,188 voted for the ANC. That is 42%. And the opposition parties combined got 11,176, which is 57.2%. Since after the last general elections, the 2024 elections, we had 11 by-elections. From the 11 by-elections, we won 8, we lost them. But that picture is misleading. Because from the 11 by-elections combined, we had about 19,555 people that voted from all the different 11 by-elections. And the ANC only got 8,188, which is 42%. Far lesser than the 49% that we got during the general elections. So the opposition combined, they got 11,176, which is 57.2. So we have to ask ourselves, what's the meaning of that? What does this sample of by-elections mean to us? What message can we derive out of this performance? As this has serious implications for the ANC with regard to 2026 local government elections. If you take this sum of the 11 by-elections, we are no longer a 49% party, we are a 42% party. If you take this sample from the 11 by-elections in which we participated. The call is clear. We must wake up from the self-induced slumber. Comrade Deputy Chair, we meet in this PGC just 6 months after our last provincial conference. The Provincial Executive Committee has directed me to deal with some of the issues raised in the discussion documents as part of our preparations for the NGC, as well as some matters raised at the last provincial conference. Comrade Chair, as we sought to address critical questions on the ANC renewal, which is the central and fundamental subject of this NGC, we have to take into account three attributes that define the character of the African National Congress. So, taking into account these three attributes that define the character of the ANC will assist us as we traverse and navigate through these difficult discussions that we are going to have. First attribute of the ANC, that it is a revolutionary party. By revolutionary party, we mean the ANC is a disciplined force of the left, and we always characterize ourselves and continue to characterize ourselves as a national liberation movement. The second attribute that would help to guide our discussions is the fact that the ANC is a mass-based organization dedicated to the mobilization of our people for their national and social emancipation, what in the past we used to call as the popular people's power. And the third attribute of the African National Congress is the fact that the ANC was elected to be in majority for the past 30 years, and we are now a governing party. That's the third attribute. And this third attribute speaks to our tagline, which is better life for all. So there are these three attributes that should form the basis of our engagement. One is that the ANC is a revolutionary party. Number two, we're a mass-based organization. And number three is that we are the governing party. These three attributes come with responsibilities to discharge. What then are the responsibilities? One is to transform South Africa into a non-racial country, into a prosperous country, and a non-sexist country, and a democratic country. That's the first attribute. And number two is to build a united, strong, vibrant, and well-governed ANC. That is the second responsibility that emanates from the three attributes. That we need to build a united, strong, vibrant, and well-governed ANC. And number three, we need to build a party with capacity to manage both internal and external contradictions without endangering the NDI. And number four, we need to build a party with an inherent capacity to recover from setbacks. I think one of our major weaknesses is that we've been unable to recover from setbacks. If you see what is happening in the Western Cape, if you see what is happening with all our metros, where we've lost, things get worse. We don't lose and recover, but we lose and things get worse. So we need to build a party with capacity to recover from setbacks. The fifth responsibility is to deepen democracy in our country and ensure that none should resort to force to solve any social problems we might confront as a country. And number six, we need to conduct a sustained campaign to end poverty and ensure decent and improved standard of living for all our people without discrimination. And number seven, we need to work for the construction of a caring society sensitive to the needs of the most vulnerable, including children, the youth, and the disabled. This society must be distinguished, among others, by the prevalence of new patriotism, respect for cultural and linguistic diversity of our nation, and a new social morality, radically different from the morality we have inherited from the centuries of colonialism and apartheid. Number eight, to place ourselves among the progressive forces in Africa. and act together with these forces for peace, democracy, and reconstruction of our continent, so that it takes its right place as an equal partner among all the continents of our globe. And number 9, the 9th responsibility is to act together with all other like-minded forces to impact on the process of globalization, so that this process and these institutions of global governance work to end poverty and underdevelopment. So, Comrade, I believe that these objectives are commonly understood and accepted by all of us as ANC members. I also believe that all of us who are present here as delegates to this special PGC are ANC members because we understand, accept, and support the achievement of these objectives. The fact that the ANC is a mass-based governing party comes with vulnerabilities, which Comrade Nelson Mandela dealt with when he presented the political report at the 1997 National Conference in Mafeking. This is what Nelson Mandela said. The result I am talking about is that we have attracted into and continue to retain opportunists and careerists within our ranks. These are the people who join the movement not because they respect or support any of the strategic objectives we have mentioned. They join with a great ease that our procedures as a mass movement permit, with the sole aim of furthering their personal careers and using the access to state power we have as a ruling party to enrich themselves. Close quote. We must therefore expect that some members and leaders will see membership and elected positions in the ANC as a vehicle to facilitate their access to personal wealth. Pursuit of personal wealth by elected leaders is corrosive and is counter-revolutionary. The most important component part of our constituency is the masses that we lead, that we call our primary motive forces. These are the working people of our country. Amongst these are the very poor and the truly marginalized. Our first obligation is to serve the interest of these masses. Serving the interest of poor masses is a pristine and primary revolutionary task that rests on our shoulders. You cannot call yourself a revolutionary if you endanger the task to create better life for the poor and the marginalized. One of the real threats to this revolutionary task is corruption and nonchalant behavior of our employees. Comrades, corruption, which is a social factor and not a biological factor. None of us, corruption is a social factor, it's not biological. None of us was born corrupt. There's no such thing as a corrupt baby. We are not born corrupt. So corruption is a social factor, it's what we learn as we grow up. And corruption leads to a scramble for scarce resources. And that scramble gets conveniently tagged as political or ideological differences. A renewed ANC cannot coexist with corruption, and members of a renewed ANC should be front-line fighters against corruption. Because in most cases, what leads to our own battles is access to resources. You go to a municipality, the mayor does not speak to a municipal manager, the municipal manager does not speak to a speaker, and it's a mess. So when you start to inquire what could be the problem here, comrades will tell you, conveniently take it as political difference. But when you investigate, it's a fight over state resources. It's a fight over state resources. When there's a tender that goes out, the mayor has got his or her own person, the MM has got his or her own person, and then that leads to a conflict. And then that conflict now gets taken different. That no, we've got political differences and we've got ideological differences. You're in the same party. You can't have ideological differences. You're in the same party, marshaled by one ideological framework. So we tend to take these things to sound nice. Comrade Deputy Chair, it is therefore clear that we have to pay very close attention to a matter we discussed consistently and passed resolutions about since our 2012 National Conference. That is the important question of cadre development, which is also dealt with in our discussion documents. I trust that the delegates will discuss this matter with all the necessary seriousness, reflecting on our experience to date. We must answer the question, what else we should do to ensure that our cadre development program produces the real results we need. We must look at our recruitment and admission procedures to improve our rate of success in attracting the best patriots into our movement. I got an SMS from one comrade who wants to become a councillor in 2026, and he said to me, I finished the third, what do you call them? The third module. I'm only left with 2. That's what he says. Yes, I've completed the 3 modules. I'm only left with 2. So I congratulated the comrade. I said, congratulations, you are doing quite well, and he sends me his certificates from the OR Tambo School. And then I said, congratulations. Then he sends another message after congratulations. No, I'm very close to this councillorship. I'm very close to this councillorship. So the incentive for corporates to participate in this program is because of their uncontrolled ambition to become councillors. I must finish this program so that I can become the councillor. So if that's what drives comrades to register for this program, it won't carry much meaning. Because we should participate in these programs in order for us to make better contribution in the work of the organization. Not driven by personal ambition to become a councillor or a member of the provincial legislature. Comrade said, since our victory in 1994, none of us have any doubts that we need to study the political and economic situation continuously to ensure that, among other things, we act correctly to defend the democratic order. In this regard, ignorance cannot be tolerated. We need to understand economic questions, given the responsibility we have to use the political power to ensure that we create and expand the material base, without which we cannot achieve the goal of a better life for all. It is only on the basis of a material base, a strong economy, that we can address the objectives we pursue, such as ending poverty and unemployment. Since the building of a strong and vibrant economy is one of the strategic tasks of the continuing democratic revolution that we lead, it must follow that we have to deepen our understanding of the economy and economic questions. Our cadre development program will therefore have to attend to these objectives as well. Such training will enable us to respond to globalization as one of the contemporary phenomena we must understand. We will have to understand this because we are part of the world economy. It would neither be possible nor desirable that we cut ourselves off from that world economy so that the process of globalization becomes a matter of irrelevance to our country and people. We have already demonstrated our global nature. In 2023, we hosted a very successful BRICS conference, and just a few weeks ago, we hosted a very successful G20 summit, despite the US desperate attempt to sabotage and torpedo the summit. The call by Trump not to invite South Africa to the G20 summit next year is already backfired, with many G20 countries expressing their discomfort. What Trump does not know is that he presides over the G20 and does not have authority to unilaterally exclude a member from participation. Trump is using the word genocide very selectively, and there is a worrisome racial undertones in his dealings with South Africa. Can we give our leadership a nice round of applause for the successful G20 summit that we hosted in the country? Deputy Chair, the process of globalization is an objective outcome of the development of the productive forces that create wealth, including their continuous improvement and expansion facilitated by advances in science, technology, and engineering. Those among us who consider themselves as Marxist students or as students of Marx will tell us that because of these German scholars and revolutionaries understand this development about 170 years back, they made the famous call, workers of the world unite. They made that call because studies were showing that capital and commodity markets had become and were becoming global. Key to the second phase of the transition are various matters that are part of our current struggle to transform our economy and society. This includes the issue of the mineral rights, the beneficiation of such programs. So as we go to this NGC, one of the clarion calls from the Northern Cape is increase the tempo and commitment in beneficiation of minerals. That should be our goal. Because we've got manganese, we've got zinc, copper, iron ore, and other minerals that just get raided and trucked out of our province to other parts of the world and not creating jobs in the North. So one of our clarion call, the NEC, the National Conference, in 2022, resolved that there should be beneficiation of our minerals. And as the Northern Cape, this is one of the clarion calls we have to make in each and every commission, that there should be an increased tempo of beneficiation, because we're a mining province, and we can't have a history of extraction of raw materials, not to the benefit of the people of the Northern Cape. Number two, comrades, we need to raise a very strong voice around the trading systems in the world, which are negotiated by the World Trade Organization. And number three, we'll have to look at the role of progressive trade union movement in our country. Currently, we've got about 3 different federations in South Africa. That in itself has got a serious, deleterious impact, adverse impact on how the labor force is organized in the country. As part of the African continent, we have an obligation to work with other progressive forces for Africa's renaissance. It would seem quite clear that the major task facing all these forces together are working together to end conflicts and continue to take lives of ordinary people. Number two, working together to give direction on what should be done to ensure the recovery of the African economies, leading to their growth and modernization, and a sustained program to eliminate poverty. Number three, we need to ensure that we are working together to meet the social needs of the people, such as health crisis, education, and human resource development. The ANC must be key to the collective ideological and political struggle for the victory of progressive ideas on our continent. As the movement, what is our take of the resurgence of military coups? In 2020, we had a military coup in Mali, 21 in Guinea, 2021 again in Sudan, 2022 in Burkina Faso, 2023 we had 2 coups in Niger and Gabon, and 2025 we've got 2 coups now in Madagascar and Guinea-Bissau. What's our take as the movement on the resurgence of coups in our province? Coming down with a bit of flu. Comrade Chair, as I have said, the process of globalization is accompanied by the growth of the system of global governance, led by organizations such as the UN, the World Bank, the IMF, and the World Trade Organization. We will have to make our own input into the universal struggle for the establishment of a new world order that must work in the interest of the ordinary working people, including the billions in our country, Africa, and the global South, who are poor and underdeveloped. It will be the task of the Special General Council to provide answers to some of the questions thrown by the changing concrete and material conditions we are confronted with. The test of our success in this regard is whether we continue to remain a people's movement, enjoying the confidence of the masses of our people as we have done in the past. We must carry out this task successfully, inspired by the principal objective to serve the people of South Africa. On behalf of the Provincial Executive Committee, I wish the Provincial General Council success in its work. Amandla.